Hey guys, I've got a really fun video for you today. I'm going to be talking about my least favorite products from 6 of my favorite brands, which is very uncomfortable because I love these brands, but no one's perfect and not everything works for everyone. But I'm extra excited for today's video because it's in collaboration with Stephanie Marie, who is a very dear friend of mine here on YouTube. We talk very often and she has such a great channel. She has the most comprehensive content. She doesn't just do first impressions or just do like reviews. She will put something through the test over and over and over. And because we talk so often, I see behind the scenes like her laboring over an eyeshadow palette, over a foundation, a concealer. She'll just test something out until she's knocked out every single variable. She is incredibly thorough and she has such a lovely presentation style. I could watch her all the time. She's starting to live stream too, which is really great. You get to see like a little bit more of her personality. So I'm sure most of you, probably all of you know Stephanie Marie. If not, definitely check out her channel and definitely check out her video for this week because she is going to be talking about 6 different brands on her channel. So between the two of us, we've got 12 brands and we've got 12 awful products for you. And these videos always get a lot of views, so I know you guys just love sipping the tea. So let's go ahead and jump into this. The first brand I'm going to talk about is a brand that I really could not find anything that I didn't like. And in fact, I even told Stephanie Marie because we had, basically come up with the list of brands that we wanted to talk about. And this was on my list. And I just reached out to her and I was like, there's nothing I don't like from this brand. I don't know what to talk about. And I finally found something. So this is Takei. And this is actually a limited edition product that came out last year. So this was their Year of the Dog face highlighter. I still have it in the box because I just think the artwork is lovely. And it's in their like single refillable compact. You have the little pinhole in the back there. So beautiful. Everything so far so good. And then inside we have, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. There's, oh, maybe right there. There's like a wolf embossing on there. Again, gorgeous. So far so good. And then there's an overspray on there. The overspray gave a nice kind of like pearly finish, but once you got through the overspray, the actual highlighter, not so good. So here is the actual highlighter. You guys can probably tell what I'm gonna say just from this finger swatch, but I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch it right back here. And this highlight is, it's subtle. It's subtle, which is fine. Sometimes there is a time and a place for a subtle highlight, but it is really, really chalky and it just blends away. I don't know if you guys can see that. And any of this like sheen that you see, that's like leftover overspray. So the like powder just blends away. It's almost like the powder is too powdery. It's almost too loose and too soft that it just doesn't stick to the skin. And I actually have some sticky lotion on my hands right now, and I thought maybe this was gonna just make me out to be a liar and really stick, but no, even the sticky lotion isn't even helping. And it's such a shame because it looks really pretty upon like first application if you get some of that overspray in there, but as soon as you start to work it into your skin, and I like doing that with highlighter, I really like buffing it into my skin. As soon as you start doing that, it just goes away. So just not a fan of this. And Takei comes out with these limited edition products all the time and they're beautiful. The packaging is usually different. The formula is always just like spot on. I love a lot of the highlighters that they've come out with recently. This one is just very, very lackluster. So this is my pick for worst product from Takei. All right, let's jump to my next brand. And this was another one. I went through the entire line and I was like, Steph, I don't think there's anything in this brand that I don't like. And then I remembered something. I remembered the palettes. So this is Seurat Beauty. And you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Seurat. I'm a huge fan of Troy Seurat's work. I mean, he is an absolute genius. His makeup products really reflect his aesthetic. And I love it. I absolutely love it. What I don't like are these palettes. When I first got into Seurat, I, figured out this whole system and I purchased one of these larger palettes. There's 2 sizes. This is the large, and then there's a smaller one, which is more of a square instead of a rectangle. And I purchased like 6 eyeshadows and I put them in here and I thought it just looked so fabulous. This mirror is great. This is just so pretty. All of his aesthetic is just, you know, modern and clean and chic, and I just love it. So the problem comes in when you start to acquire more of the eyeshadows, more of the blushes, which also fit in here, and you want to start playing around with them. So let's say you've created a palette, it looks great, maybe you buy another one, you buy 6 more eyeshadows, you put it in there, and that's what happened to me. So I ended up with 12 shadows, 2 palettes, and then I wanted to kind of play around with them and mix and match a little bit. The issue is, and I've pulled out one of my eyeshadows here, I keep them in a magnetic palette now, so there's a little magnet back here, but what the magnet is sitting on top of is like a sticker. So you pull this off, and it's actually like a sticker, and you just put it into the palette and you press down and it sticks in there. And then there are pinholes in the back here for you to pop it out. Because they're not a click in or because they're not magnetized, the sticker gets old. Some of it will stick in here. It just makes it very difficult for you to, you know, rearrange or play around with the different shadows that you may have acquired that, you know, go into more than one palette. So I just think that the design of this palette is just not conducive to playing around with all of his beautiful, beautiful eyeshadows and blushes. So a blush basically takes up like 2 spots where an eyeshadow takes up 1 spot. So you can put, you know, a blush down here, you can put it sideways if you want. So everything I feel like was really well thought out except for that sticker situation. I really wish they kind of like clicked in, which I know would make this palette probably a little bit bigger and a little bit bulkier, but I just think that would have helped out the versatility of this a little bit more. And so now I have like 4 of these and I have one of the smaller ones, and I was kind of like playing around with them and like sticking them back in, and eventually they stopped sticking and I realized I could just stick magnets to the back of them and stick them into a different palette. So now I have all of these dead Seurat palettes sitting in my drawer, which is such a shame because again, they're so, so beautiful, but they just don't work if you want to play around with the arrangement of them. So that is my worst product from Seurat. All right, the next brand I want to talk about is Tom Ford, and I actually have a few things that I could talk about here, but I am going to talk about the extreme eyeshadows. Those were awful. I've returned all of mine, so I don't have any in my possession. So I'll just flash it if I can because they were limited edition, but I'll flash a picture up here. But they were the single eyeshadows that came out with that really shiny chrome case. And the whole campaign was like these extreme shadows. They were just the ultra pigmentation and they were super bright and they were just going to be like, oh my God, like shadows you had never seen before. These shadows I definitely had never seen before because the pigmentation was so lacking, and I tried them so many different ways with so many different brushes, on primer, on, you know, my bare lit, anything. They were so blah, and I made a whole video talking about how blah they were because I was like in shock, absolutely in shock. They looked like really, really sad toppers. That's what they looked like, really sad toppers. They were sheer, they were kind of like chunky with the glitter, but the glitter wasn't even that sparkly. The sheerness was patchy. I mean, they were just terrible. I could go on and on and on. And I purchased, I think maybe like 8 of them. And I purchased them from Neiman Marcus, and Neiman Marcus does not take back used makeup. But I walked in there and I was like, I am not leaving until I get my money back because these are terrible. And I showed them to my SA there and he was like, you're right. He's like, we'll return your money. And I like his, you know, individual shadows with like the 6 different finishes or whatever. Some are better than others, but I like all of those. There was just something about these extreme eyeshadows that came in the chrome casing that were so, so awful, so awful. So that is my number 1 worst product from Tom Ford. All right, next up is Pat McGrath. Now, I actually have 2 things to say. I did want to mention one actual piece of product. Anyway, let me get into it. The mascara. Oh, I don't like this. The Fetish Eyes mascara. This is actually a small, like, deluxe sample that I got after I tried the full size. So I got the full size, tried that, and it just flaked all over my face. And I was like, ooh, I'm not a mascara pro, so I thought immediately that it was my fault. I had done something wrong. I don't know what you could do with mascara other than just apply it, but I have like a Chanel base. So I tried it with the base. I put that on, it flaked. I put like more powder under my eyes one day, put that on, it flaked all over. And it was like such a mess. And I've never really had that big of a problem with mascara. I've had mascaras that you know, I don't like mascaras that just don't suit me or my taste. I've had mascaras that flake a little bit, but this was the absolute worst. And I don't know why. I don't know what I have no idea about like formulation of mascara, why it would flake, what the situation was, but it flaked. And I even got this because sometimes smaller sizes I feel like behave differently than the bigger ones. So I thought maybe the smaller size will work for me. It didn't. It did not work for me. This was bad. This was really bad. So this is my worst product from Pat McGrath. But what I wanted to say about Pat McGrath in general, and this was almost going to be what I talk about as like the worst Pat McGrath thing, is just their shipping and their packaging. Their shipping is slow. It takes forever for them to actually dispatch anything. And then because they're on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast, which is no fault of theirs, it takes a very, very long time. But for me, it's the dispatch time. It always takes like 3 or 4 days before I get the shipping confirmation after I get the order confirmation. I don't understand that. I order from smaller places and it's always dispatched quickly. I know, first world problems, I know, but I wanted to mention it. And then the packaging material, it went from like kind of bad to like awful, god awful, terrible, terrible, terrible. Those black plastic worms, I don't even understand who created those. Those should be illegal. They get everywhere from like the static cling because they're plastic. They're plastic, so they're not environmentally friendly. And it's everywhere. It's the most god awful packaging ever. I just had to get that off my chest. So anyway, I apparently had 2 things to say for Pat McGrath, but the mascara from her line, is just the absolute worst for me. All right, next up is Natasha Genoa. This was another really, really difficult one because I really enjoy everything I've tried from Natasha Genoa. Granted, this is a line that I have not tried everything, like definitely some of the lip products, like the liquid lipsticks and the lip glosses, I have not tried from her, but I have tried those I Need a Nude lipsticks and I love those. But most recently, I tried that gold dual highlighter. It's like a limited edition. It's for the holiday season. I just didn't like it, and I was just looking for it and I realized I lent it to a friend who wanted to do like a gold look. I was like, I have just the product for you. But I will flash a picture of it up here so you guys know what I'm talking about. It was too like chunky. It was just too glittery, overall glittery. I thought it was just gonna be like more like her highlighters, her blushes that have a little bit more opaqueness to it, which I know for gold probably wouldn't work out that well either. But I thought it was just going to be kind of like a gold version of that. But instead it ended up being kind of like a gold glittery dust thing. It migrated a bit, and I think for me it was just the chunkiness of it that I didn't like. I was really hoping that it was going to be more of a smooth, kind of like wet looking kind of situation, and it really wasn't. It was kind of like a topper, like it would act as a topper, but you would really have to like glitter on your face, and that's not always what I'm going for. I don't mind it on my cheeks every once in a while if that's what I'm going for, but generally I don't want like just gold dust on there. And it's limited edition, it's for the holidays. I totally get it, but it just wasn't for me. And while I think it's far from being an awful product, it was really difficult because I really do like everything, pretty much everything from Natasha Genoa that I have in my collection. So I had to pick something. Okay, and last but not least, Cicely. Again, another brand. I love everything in their line. But last time when I did my like recent fails or something, I mentioned their mascara because it was clumpier than I wanted, and it also flaked on me. Not quite as bad as the Pat McGrath, but it did flake on me and I just did not like it. And then as I was kind of like sifting through everything, I remembered that I have these eyeliners from Cicely. So these are their Phyto Kohl Star waterproof eyeliners. Now they have 2 different types of colors. They have a sparkling, and then they just have like regular, basically colors with names without the word sparkling in there. And I have 2 sparkling shades and then 1 regular shade. So the sparkling shades, and let me see if I can swatch this properly for you. The sparkling shades have these glitters in there. And then once you kind of rub your finger on there, I hope you guys can see, like the glitter kind of like comes out a little bit more. And then the actual kohl part of the eyeliner, it's sticky and it really stays put. It's very, very waterproof. It's great. Then they have the other ones that I was mentioning that don't have the word sparkling in them, and these don't have any of those glitter pieces in there. So this one is Mystic Blue, and this works just like this black one but without the glitters. So I love the Mystic Blue. It's awesome. But the sparkling ones, and I have sparkling bronze and sparkling black, these glitter bits eventually like started to fall into my eye and really, really started bugging my eye. And it just wasn't what I expected because the base of this is such a sticky kind of like waterproof eyeliner that I thought the glitters would just adhere to it. But it seems like as the day goes on, the glitters start to kind of like loosen and they just start to kind of fall, and I would notice some fallout in there. But the worst part was that it would actually fall into my eyes and it would really start to bother my eyes. So unfortunately, I'm not the biggest fan of the sparkling waterproof eyeliners, but I do like the regular ones. I do like the ones without the sparkly bits in there. All right, that is it for this video. God, that was really hard. I had to dig deep for some of those, like really, really dig deep into my collection for some of those. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to check out Stephanie Marie's video for 6 more awful products from our favorite brands. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know what some of your least favorite products are from some of your favorite brands down below in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.